150 Fuller Street. The map, text map shows number 3-30-50-032.00. Do we have anybody here that wants to come up and talk about the property that's going to be discussed tonight? Not you, Ms. Singh. You're going to be a little bit later. Ma'am, are you here to talk about the property?
No, sir.
No? So right now, we don't have anybody that wants to come forward. So we're going to end with a public hearing, and we're going to go straight into the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of this meeting has been submitted in fax to the Spartanburg Herald Journal, posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of Town Hall on the town's website. We're going to go to roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Parfit?
Present.
Mr. Erickson?
Present.
Ms. Pilgrim?
Present.
Mr. Green? Ms. Lee? Mr. Harris?
Okay. Okay, we have a quorum here, so we can move forward. I want to add a note to the record tonight that the town has received a letter of registration from Chris Harris, and this is effective immediately. Just so everybody knows.
Is Chris resigning or something?
Yes, Chris has resigned. Doesn't say why. We had the minutes, I guess from 5 May to 25. I think we have to have a motion to approve those minutes. Everybody, motion to approve the last minutes from the last meeting? Anybody second it?
Second.
Okay, minutes are approved.
Was there all in favor for that?
All in favor, yeah.
I am in favor.
Yep, I'm sorry. I guess now we're going to get ready to move forward here to the considered variance for 150 Fuller Street. I want to right now get the town administrator to tell us what he's got, and then we'll get Mr. Singletary up.
Sure. So we received an application from Mr. Stripling, the owner of the property. He's currently wanting to, and I'll pull it up on the maps here. This is the property in question. It's 150 Fuller Street. The property here is, just for the record, I'll just kind of show what we're looking at. The property is uh, 20,449 square feet. The property owner wants to divide it up into 2 lots. If you divide it into 2 lots, it would still meet the R10 minimum, which is the 10,000 square feet per lot. The problem is to be able to split it the way that he's looking to have split. Let's see what I've got. I thought I had it on here. The way he wants to have it split there, the way it would set up if you had 2 homes on those lots, although the setbacks would still be 10 feet on either side there. So 10 foot on either side of these. The problem is if you look under section 3-11.5 lot specifications, the minimum lot width at building line, I believe it's 65 feet. So if the lot right now is approximately 111 square feet, or 110, linear feet across. So if you divide that by 2, you're about approximately 55 and a half for both lots on there, which at that point would not be able to divide the lot, or would not be able to build on the lot with a minimum width where the building is at 65 feet.
Can you bring the picture back up that you had a minute ago, Pat?
This one here?
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I just wanted to see.
So he's wanting to divide the lot down the middle, and it would essentially look like,
It looked just like the ones across the street, am I not correct?
it would look approximately like that, approximately.
Yes.
Just like the ones across the street?
Just like the ones across the street. The problem is the location in the middle would not be 65 foot in width for him to be able to build, so the town had to decline this request on here, and he's asking for a variance to be able to build on each one of these 2 lots, and to receive a variance, essentially changing it to around 50 to 55 feet across here is what he's asking for to be able to build a home on each one of these 2 lots. If he still maintains the 10-foot setback on either side, which is required in the R10 area, he would have approximately 35 feet of width of the building, and as long as he can still build a house in that 35 feet, the only variance request on there would be for the 65 feet of width where the property, where the building is going to be situated. The applicant is here. Mr. Travis Stripling's here. If you have any questions for him.
I have some questions, but
Mr. Strickland, why don't you come on up here? If you could say your name and your address for us so we can get on the record.
My name is Travis Strickland, address 150 Fuller Street.
I have a question. Patrick, when did you buy this property, Mr.?
When?
April 24.
Right.
I think he's got New Year's Eve, right? April 24?
Yes, sir.
I just want to put it on the record. And when did the ordinance change?
Well, when I talked to Mr. Patrick, I think I was at the second hearing of it, so I was kind of caught in the middle of it.
Right.
So the ordinance changed after he bought the property?
Yes.
The ordinance changed after he bought the property, but the way it states in South Carolina Code, unless you have what's called vested rights, if you...
Being grandfathered in type thing?
Sort of, if not exactly. If you have, for vested rights to be established, he would have to have applied for this zoning request or applied to do what he wanted to do and have an approval on hand prior to the zoning ordinance being approved.
Okay, I'm going down the road here, Patrick, and I don't want to be controversial, but why did they change it?
Well, that's kind of good enough, of course, right now for tonight. I think you can ask that question, Patrick, but I mean, I don't think it has to do with anything for here.
I mean, who changes these zones, and is that us or is that?
So the entire zoning ordinance and zoning map was changed. It was requested by council. It was
By our town council?
our town council. We hired a company called, we hired the Appalachian Council of Governments to come in and oversee the process. And the Planning Commission and members of council sat on that steering committee, put together a completed zoning ordinance and map. The Planning Commission voted on it and approved it, recommended it to council. Council then had 2 readings of that, and after that, it went into effect.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, didn't we have a zoning change about 4 or 5 years ago also? They changed the zoning for voting purposes as well?
I don't know about that.
Because you wasn't here anyway.
No, and if you could move the microphone closer to you so we make sure people can.
Okay, yeah. I don't think, you might not have been here then, I don't think. But I think we did a zoning change in Packlet for voting purposes, I'm sure. Prior to this one, that, I know we had another one prior to this one in 2025. And so my reason for asking the question is because I don't want us to go down this slippery slope with road because it don't look right. I'm just saying, I just want to throw the stuff out there that's out there. If the gentleman bought the property in January or in 2024 and then all of a sudden we changed the zoning codes in 2025, it don't look right. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And I don't want us to go down a bad road with this.
What's the question again?
If he bought the property in 2024.
Correct.
And then we changed the zoning ordinances and everything in 2025.
Correct.
I really wanted to know what was the purpose of that because it doesn't look right. I'm just saying that how I see things. And I don't want to make any accusations or anything. I don't want to do that. But I just wanted to know why. Was it changed? And whose idea was it to change it?
I I think, Patrick, that was the planning commission that came up with the, how to do the,
It was the council that wanted to wanted to update the entire zoning ordinance. There was a lot of problems in the zoning ordinance. There were areas where it would refer to sections that didn't exist.
Okay, I can understand that, but there were no problems when they built these houses down here already? So they did it after these houses were built, and they're not that old.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out what the problem is here. That's just me.
What was the problem with the existing zoning?
they changed- I think
Yeah,
that's
what
why
was
it
the problem with
changed.
the existing, what was the problem with the existing ordinance? That we had to change it after they built these houses? That's my whole point. And why just, because the change only occurs, if I'm correct, right around his little area right there, am I right?
no, it's for the whole town.
It's for the whole town?
Yeah.
The whole town.
The whole town, the ordinance has been changed, so the whole town has changed, yes.
For the whole pack?
All packet, not just here.
Okay.
Mr. Travis, I'm coordinator, so I'm actually chair of the board.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any really questions. I went and looked at your property. I know that you can build two, in a row like that, which the aesthetics, I think, would look bad for me personally, because I
Yes,
drove down
sir.
there. I know the homes are across the street
Yes,
are
sir.
there, and I think it kind of fit right in. I don't really have any, if you have anything you want to say, but I'm inclined to go ahead and approve, or vote, I'm going to vote yes, that
Yes,
we
sir.
approve your stuff.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but does any of the board members have some questions they want to ask Travis here?
One thing I want to make very clear on this is to overturn a decision by the zoning administrator. No matter how many people are here, you still have to have 4 to overturn.
Right.
So if you only have 4 here, then all 4 of you would have to vote in favor to overturn it.
So do you understand that? Tonight, we only have 4 members here out of the
Yes, sir.
board. So when everybody's done talking, we'll go for a vote.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I get a motion if we're going to vote either way. But does anybody have any questions they want to ask?
Yeah, when was your intent, or when did you make notification for your intent to build 2 homes on it?
Right, shortly after I purchased the property, I contacted Mr. Patrick, asking him about separating, and that's when he told me that they was in the middle, the second reading of the zoning. And like I said, I called up to the town, and they just told me to look on the internet, on the website, so I looked, and it just had, it didn't have the R10 zoning, it was just like, I don't know. I got the colored map. I can't remember exactly what it said.
I believe it was probably set up as neighborhood general.
Yes. It
At
was
that
just like
time, those were
different
the-
little sections. Yeah, that map. Don't have it.
Was there ever any written correspondence or for intent, or
Sir?
was there ever any written correspondence or?
Yes, sir, we have emails that
gotcha.
me and Mr. Patrick was going back and forth, communicating about it. Like I say, when I went on there, it was just like a map that showed different colors, and then you go to the section, and it's like, this section is such and such, this section is... So that's what I used, and then like I say, later I talked to Patrick, and he was like, hey, we changing this, we're in the second reading, so... Like I say, this is my first time doing this, I've never did it before, so...
That's all I have.
Council had also approved what's called a pending ordinance doctrine, which states that once they start the process, that no new request can be made that would adhere to the old zoning ordinance. And so, once you started that process, once council approved the pending ordinance doctrine, that meant that once they were in the middle of it, that no new things could be evaluated that adhered to the old code. It would have to look at the new code on there.
Does that apply in this situation?
Yes.
Yeah, I asked him about it, since they were still in the readings, like, hey, could I jump on the old section? He was like, no, since they started the readings, basically, I had to go with what was going on, and I couldn't do what was there before.
And if I'm not mistaken, that it hasn't been approved yet, it's just because moving forward, he couldn't do anything, is that correct? But
Yes,
they
sir.
hadn't actually
It was in the
approved it.
second reading, I think.
Kind of like in a holding pattern.
Since the town was in the middle of that
Right.
process, and town had already approved the pending ordinance doctrine. He couldn't put in a request to do what he was wanting to do.
Right.
Because the town was in that process.
Right. Anything else? No. We have a motion to vote for approve or disapprove?
We have a motion to vote?
I make a motion that we vote.
Anybody second it?
Second.
We got a second over here. Did you say it loud?
Second. I second a motion to vote.
Well, I'm gonna vote where we approve your request, me personally. Again, I don't like the aesthetics that you could still build, I think it look bad.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna say yes.
I say yes.
I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
That's 3-1, Travis, I'm not sure.
We need 4.
You would need all
So it's gonna
four.
be disapproved. I'm not sure if there's a process that you can ask again, if there's more, if we have more president or something like that. I don't know the process to go, but right now, I think the only thing you can do now is actually go to state court.
So since this didn't get approved going side by side, still can I do it front and back since?
It looks like to me, and Patrick in the town would have to say it, but it looks like what I saw was, yes, you can kind of work it in there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was what I'd also presented to y'all was splitting the lot so that you would have a house in the front and a house in the back. That way that you would still get your 65-foot widths in there, but the house would be a house in the front and a house in the back on there. Do you understand what I'm saying on that?
I have a sketch of it if you need.
I think they've
No,
got
at this point
okay.
now, we're just, we're done. We have, this vote is, we have a motion to adjourn meeting.
We done? Is it?
Well, I have to have somebody ask the motion.
A motion to...
Okay, anybody second that motion?
Second motion.
Okay. The meeting's closed and we're adjourned.